Can there be too much of a good thing? Well, the usual answer is yes. In this episode, we are going to talk about when self help is not helpful. Along with this, I'm going to share with you the three major mistakes I made in my journey. Without further ado, let's dive in. So, the first thing was I became rigid. I only saw things as black and white, or right and wrong. My approach to things became so singular that I subconsciously refused to learn any other approach other than what I thought was right. This also developed an attitude of all or nothing in doing things. If I'm unable to do it in a way I expected it to be, or the best I can be, then I won't do it at all. There are things that I wanted to do but abandoned it entirely because of this attitude. I was no longer exploring or discovering my capabilities, which was counterintuitive to my journey of self improvement. With this mindset, it also affected how I saw myself and others, which is the second mistake. I became critical towards self and others. I felt frustrated with the high expectation that I placed upon myself that I was not meeting. This led to disregarding my progress altogether. After taking a pause and contemplated, I noticed that I became several things: a perfectionist, afraid to fail, practiced negative self talk, along with feeling insecurity that I tried to hide from the world by isolating. And this was how I viewed myself. I also subconsciously mirrored my frustrations toward others. Examples of this is the lack of empathy, not accepting people as they are, quick to judge, and easily disappointed if my expectations were not met. I acted like the world revolved around me. I subconsciously used false confidence to mask my insecurities. Fear also plays a detrimental role. I started developing trust issues and even, again, isolating myself due to over analyzing people and situations. I became on edge oftentimes and easily frustrated. Noticing these signs has affected my perspective, which is the third and last mistake. My self awareness turned into performatively self aware. And this was the quote that I got from one of the articles that I've read. Being self aware can feel like you're always performing, or at least constantly monitoring yourself to make sure you do and say the right thing. I've had this experience where someone close to me shared something personal, and I automatically went into autopilot mode and used a scripted response for sensitive situations. Since we're close, the person immediately noticed and called me out on it. They said that it was not how I normally talk to them and it sounded scripted. Instead of being comforted, they felt like I wasn't genuine with them. Of course, I apologized and showed appreciation for their honesty afterwards. After this encounter, one by one, I reflected of the times I did this and noticed that I was not truly being myself. I thought I was being self aware, but what ended up happening was I was using my self awareness as a mean to fit who I was expected to be in different scenarios. With all of these mistakes that I did, one quote stuck with me from the same article that I've read. It says that being self aware should always include a degree of self acceptance. So, the point of this episode is that I hope what you can take away from this is find your balance in taking care of yourself through the learning process and be mindful of your motives, why and how you do things. If it becomes too self involved, that not only harm you, but others as well.